One of the advantages of having a well-built 3D replica of your building is that you can quantify pretty much everything. So if you go here to the project map under Schedules, you will notice that ArchiCAD has already created some schedules for us, starting with elements. So if I double click here on this first one, wall schedules, ArchiCAD will show a schedule of all the walls that we have done in our project so far, with information like volume, thickness, height, area, and so on. If I go down here, we have a schedule for all the doors with a 2D symbol and also a elevation for all the doors. Same for the windows. If I go down a little bit more here in components and all components, you will see a list of every building material, the volume and the area of them, which is great for quantifying how much material I need for this construction. And then under the surface here, you will find schedules for all the finishes. But now let's create our own schedule for all the areas that we have in the project. So to do that, we go here on Schedule, right-click, and then click on New Schedule. Then ArchiCAD is going to ask us what's the ID and the name of this schedule. I'm going to keep the same numbering we have there. So IES 06, and the name is going to be Area Schedule. Now we have to choose if it is going to be a construction components or surface. I know zones are construction elements, so I'm going to keep it in constructions and then press OK. So here on the right, we have the settings for the area schedule that we just created, starting with the criteria to get into our schedule. So the criteria for us is that the element type is a zone. So I'm going to change here from wall to zone. So only zones will get into our schedule. You can add more criteria like only zones that have certain name or from certain category. But for us right now, only zone will do. And then here below, we can choose what fields goes into our schedule. Let's click here on Add Fields, and then under the zone, I'm going to look for zone name, press Add, and then also the calculated area. So I'm going to click here and then press Add. Now let's go ahead and press OK and see how this schedule is looking. So here in the project map, let's go and click on our IES 06 area schedule. And here we have a list of all the zones and the areas of our project so far. Let's expand a little bit here and change some of those names. I don't want it to say calculated area or zone name. I'm going to change this to ambient. You can also click on any of those here and change here the font settings and also the frames. For example, I don't want to see the columns here for the fields, and I don't want to see any of the frames for the title. We can also choose to merge the uniform items, so you will notice that all those three balconies will be combined if I check this box. Now let's add a total square meters here for our schedule. So to do that, you can either right-click here on Area Schedules and go to Scheme Settings, or you can go to this button here at the top, Scheme Settings. Now if you click here on the field Calculated Area, you will notice three boxes. And the second one is the icon for sum, where ArchiCAD will add a total at the end. So let's press OK. And you see here at the bottom that we have a total for the square meter. So let's also change here the borders. But if I go here to the category zone name and I click sum twice, you will notice that we have a 1 here. And this means that now ArchiCAD is going to sum how many of those you have. So now at the bottom we have 21 rooms, and this is the total square meters of them. One other thing that I do a lot when I'm doing area schedule is to add what is the home story of this schedule. So if I go here to add fields and I type home, you will see the option home story. I'm going to click on it and add, and I will move all the way to the top. Now if I press OK, we should have the home story as one of the fields here. And if I go here on the top left and check this box, Show Headline, ArchiCAD is going to group everything that is the same on the first field, like everything that is the same in basement, ground floor, and first floor. One other thing I want to add here is a subtotal of the areas and the amount of ambience per floor. So I'm going to go back to scheme settings, and I'm going to click here on the home story and then check the last box of those options, which is this little flag that means a check mark. So every time we change the home story, ArchiCAD is going to do a subtotal. Let's press OK and see how it looks. And now we have a subtotal per floor. So here we have 2 rooms with a total of 64. I'm going to change the borders here as well. It looks a little bit more clean. On the ground floor, we have 9 with a total 191. And in the first floor, we have 10, total 135. And at the end, we have 21 rooms with this total. So I'm going to make this one a little bit more obvious, so we know that this is the main total there. So now we can go ahead and save this as a view. So I'm going to create a new subfolder here called Schedules, and I can drag this schedule inside that folder and we can place it in our sheet. But if you want, you can also go here on File, Save As, and save your schedule as an Excel or a PDF. I'm not going to save it right now. So the logics that we used to create this schedule is the same logics that applies when you're doing any other schedule, if it is for a wall or for any of the surface. So try to explore a little bit and see what information you can extract from this model.